Bullcrap Jerry. This is a story about my dad was pretty demonstrative, very powerful personality. My mom was very kind and gentle. They were laying in bed one night, and Kay was laying next to Jerry, and Jerry said to Kay, "Kay, when you finally believe the way I do, you'll be truly happy." And she said she had the hardest time not totally cracking up and laughing. She just said to herself, "Bullshit, Jerry." Anyway, this is she was funny, but he'd just go off and she'd just say, nope, I'm gonna be myself. And she was. Dad always encouraged us to be ourselves too, be our best selves. In fact, you'll notice I'm wearing overalls. My dad wore overalls to work on the railroad. I wore his overalls when I was in high school after I graduated. My grandfather and some of my uncles, many of my uncles, wore overalls to work on the trains for the Southern Pacific Railroad out of Ogden, Utah. They were good guys. I remember my dad coming home in his overalls after working on the railroad. It smelled like a cigar smokehouse. He smelled horrible. They always smoked cigars and pipes and cigarettes on those trains, and it would just get on his clothing, something fierce. But anyway, Dad was, Dad wore overalls, and I decided to wear overalls started wearing them again about 15 years ago approximately, because it was having financial problems, and I remember how hard my dad and my grandfather would work, and I thought it's time to put on the overalls and go to work. So I did, and it was very representative of the Depression. The Depression, many men wore overalls, and so I wear overalls because my grandfather wears overalls. My dad and my uncles wore overalls. My dad wore overalls to work in. And I wear overalls because they are a symbol to me of hard work. They are goofy looking, they are weird looking, and I get a lot of weird looks with my overalls. But if someone ever says anything to me, I just simply want to say, I know they're weird. I know that my overalls are weird, but they're very comfortable. But if I wear regular pants, I have no butt. And even if I have my belt tight, my pants fall off my legs as I'm walking. So overalls are very comfortable for me to work in. I know they're goofy looking, but to me, there's a lot of nostalgia in them for my grandfather and my father. And there's also the symbol of hard work, hard-nosed, roll up your sleeves, get the work done, work. Overalls mean that to me, but they're also comfortable. And my dad always told me when I was growing up, you don't need to do what other kids do. In fact, when I was young, I wanted to grow my hair long, and I did a little bit, but I wanted to grow my hair really long, and my dad said, no, you don't need to grow your hair long and look like a girl. I think that's what he called it, girl, or look like one of these long-haired hippies. That's what he called it, long-haired hippies. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I did what my dad told me to do. I was obedient to my parents. Well, there's once in a while I got into mischief, but generally I just did what I was told to do. And I learned that if I did what my parents told me to do, I'd be successful. And it's been true.